Hey, what are you focused on? What are you working on? What are you swinging for? What are you doing? Listen, today I'm excited because I really want to talk to you about what I call the 5 maxims for making real progress. Now, I know you're probably out there and you're working hard on whatever it is you're trying to work on. Maybe it's getting yourself in better shape. Maybe it's the next business project or the next level of making money or whatever it might be. But the bottom line is that how do you know? Right? How do you know if this is working? How do you know if this is worth it? I mean, you're putting a lot of effort in. So let's talk about these 5 maxims. And I chose these because they're really quite to the point in being able to help you determine how you're to make the best progress you possibly can. One first thing you need to know is that the human person is very interesting in that, and you and I, by the way, are both humans, okay? Very interesting in that it's actually progress that drives a lot of our fulfillment and a lot of our happiness in life. When you feel like you're gaining some mastery over something or you're moving towards something that has value to you, it does something inside of us where we just feel like, yeah, okay, things are going good, things are going right, I'm getting there. So let's talk about how to get there. All right, the first phrase I want to teach you and I want to share with you real quickly was actually a game changer for me when I just didn't feel like I was getting where I wanted to go, at least not fast enough. And the phrase is progress over perfection. I know, there's that word, right? That perfection word. It seems to haunt all of us. We always want everything that we do to be amazing and grandiose and superb and excellent and top of the line and on and on and on. And of course we want that because it's important, because that's how we measure success. That's how we help determine significance in our life. And so perfection sometimes is, it gets in a little bit away. But here's the main thing I want to talk to you about this particular phrase. Okay, progress over perfection. The first thing is that this phrase is about focus. You don't need me to tell you that when you're focused on something, you generally move in the direction of that thing you're focused on. And when you're not focused on something, you're generally not moving in the direction. Let me give you an example. When I was a kid and my dad taught me how to ride a bike for the first time, one of the things that I was doing was that I would just get on the bike and then I'd start pedaling, and because I was new to it, I would actually start looking at my feet, and then all of a sudden I'd topple over. I just couldn't hold it. Okay. Next thing you know, I'd get back on the bike and then I'd start pedaling and I'd be like, oh God, there's that mailbox, right? And I'd start staring at the mailbox, and guess what I did? I hit the mailbox, right? And so I was never reaching any sort of progress, much less perfection, because of what I was focused on. So focus is one of the main things about progress over perfection. The other thing about progress over perfection is that this helps you to begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey, one of the guys that helped us out quite a bit in all of in history, says that we need to begin with the end in mind. And when we do that, we know what we're after. And when we know what we're after, then and only then can we be making progress, because we have nothing to measure against if we don't. If I'm here and I want to get here, okay, unless I know where here is, I don't know where I'm going, right? If you want to get from where you are to California, and if you're in California, okay, you want to get somewhere else, if you're where you are and you want to get there, you can get on the road and you can start traveling. You can start driving. You can start moving. You can take lefts and rights, and you can take freeways and byways and side roads. But if you don't know where you're going, if you haven't decided you're going to California, then you ain't going to get there. All right. Third thing about progress over perfection is that this is about priority of the important over the tyranny of the urgent. Too often, the menial things, the minute things, the things that are low dollar activities, the things that aren't important, fill up our day and our time because they're easy. They're the low hanging fruit, and we feel like we're getting a win out of it, but we never feel like we're making progress. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of like eating candy at a gourmet meal. It's like, hey, I'm getting full, but I'm not feeling fulfilled. Does this make sense? All right. Phrase number 2 that I want to teach you. 5 of the 5 maxims for making progress is perfect is nice, done is better. I know. There's that word perfection again, right? I'm purposely driving home this thing around perfection for these first 2 maxims because perfectionism is the number one reason that we procrastinate. It's the number one reason why we don't make progress and we get stuck in life and in business. And so perfect is nice, done is better. So first thing this is about action instead of thinking. Okay. Now, the only way for us to gain momentum towards, which is the same thing as progress, right? Momentum is to be able to take actions. Okay, so actions beget results, not thinking. And the more thinking that we're doing, because we're thinking about how to make it perfect, we're actually not doing and therefore not making progress. Enough said. Okay, the next thing is you can't make things perfect for others. You simply don't have the power. If you're trying to make your product perfect for the consumer, if you're trying to make your service perfect for the right person to buy it, if you're trying to make yourself perfect for another human being, your spouse or significant other, if you're trying to make your house perfect so that the neighbors look upon you correctly, you are never going to be able to get there because you have no idea what their idea of perfection is. And maybe they don't either. So now you're both not knowing what's going on and you're spending a lot of effort to try to do something that's just not possible. So let yourself off the hook. Give it up. Third thing about perfect is nice, done is better, is that this is about self-kindness, right? If you're not going to be kind to yourself, nobody else is. And when it comes to always constantly aiming perfection, you're going to continue to beat yourself up because you're not getting there. Yeah, that's not kind. That is not kind. And so I just want to give you permission right now, just treat yourself like royalty. Be the king or queen that you are. Treat yourself like it. And remember that perfect is nice, but done is better. All right, maxim number 3. It is not fake it till you make it. It's believe it till you become it. I need to say that one again. It's not fake it till you make it. It's believe it until you become it. You see, the reason that progress doesn't happen for you or for I or for anybody else is because we don't believe it's possible. We don't believe that we can get there. Okay? So here's what I want you to know about this. Number 1, your heart and your mind, the two superpowers around your human nature, your heart and your mind will always know that you're faking it. And when they know that you're faking it, they're always inside going, this is BS. This isn't true. This isn't right. This isn't possible. Okay? If your heart and your mind know that you're faking it, your heart and your mind are never believing it. And it isn't until you gain belief that you'll actually take action. Which brings me to the next point I want to tell you about. It's not fake it till you make it. It's believe it till you become it. And that is the fact that belief drives all behavior. What you believe you're capable of, what you believe is possible, what you believe you can or cannot do, what you believe others are going to allow you to do or not do, that drives what behaviors you choose to do or which behaviors you completely avoid. Oh, and the second half of that, all behavior drives all progress. Okay, so let me give the whole thing here. Belief drives behavior and behavior drives progress. So what do you need to believe so that your behaviors will become what they need to be so you can make the progress you want to make? Do you see how simple this is? Simple but not easy, but absolutely worth it. And don't forget that you're worth it, and so are the people who are counting on you. All right, maxim number 4, inspect what you expect. Ooh, I know, already inside of us we're going, there's that accountability topic, that accountability thing. And so I want to talk to you about this for a minute because I want you to be able to see how this can empower you and not frustrate you. Because I want you to win, right? You want you to win, I want you to win. So let's do it. All right, number 1, tracking and measuring of some sort is the only way that you're going to know if you're making progress or if you're not. It's the only way. It's not a feeling. Most of the time. It's not a feeling of like, I feel like I'm making progress. You know what the truth of the matter is? There are some days where I will actually be working on something and then I'll get into Facebook for the purpose of making some sort of post or an ad or something like that, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. And the next thing I know, I'm reading somebody else's post, which leads me to this thing, which then I clicked on this other thing, and then there's this flashy, shiny thing, and so on and so forth. And now what ends up happening is I have all the progress in the, all the movement in the world, but not necessarily progress. Okay? Mistaking movement for achievement. All right, so we got to start tracking this. How do you track? Well, the bottom line is that tracking has to do with two main things. We call them lead measures and lag measures. And this is what's really exciting. When you look at a lag measure is what happens after the action and the behavior has already taken place. This is where it's too late to do anything about it. This is where you are crossing your fingers hoping that something did happen, but only finding out that if it didn't, I can't do anything about it because it's already in the past. Ugh. Now, lag measure is important because those are the things that are telling you whether it's working or not, whether your kung fu is working or not. When you're swinging the fences, are you hitting enough? And is your batting average going up, right? That's the only way to be able to know this. All right. The second piece here is the lead measures piece, right? So if the lag measures are measuring what has already happened or taken place and if there's any progress, a lead measure is the specific actions or behaviors that you will take that have the highest impact on making progress, okay? Lead measures are different than movement mistaken for achievement. It's not about movement. It's about lead measures, the things that actually move the needle for making progress. So what's the answer? Number one, you need to know what your lead measures are. You need to know the things that are the highest producing activities that get you closer to the weight loss you want, that get you closer to the income that you want, get you closer to growing your business the way you want to, get you closer to the type of marriage or relationship that you want to. You got to know what those lead measures are. What are the key things? And by the way, there isn't going to be many. Like 2 sometimes is enough. Okay? There isn't going to be many. And when you do those things, then you can measure the lag measures and see what's going on. All right, third thing about inspecting what you expect is that this is where you get to hold yourself able. That's right. I said able, not accountable. Okay. Now, I'm not saying accountability is wrong, because accountability is ultra important, but your mindset about accountability is going to matter. Too many people look at accountability and go, you're not the boss of me, right? I don't have to do what you say, right? When in fact, it's you that's setting the goal, and you're the one that's holding yourself to those expectations. And if it's a boss, or a partner or something like that, then they should only be expecting from you what you've agreed to do. All right. That being said, if you look at accountability as power, it becomes a wholly different thing. If you're holding yourself able, then all you're doing by tracking is proving that you're able. Okay? Accountability and ableness is not about shaming or guilting or beating yourself up for what you didn't do. It's about being aware and clear of what you did and didn't do and what progress you got or didn't get, so that you know what to do next. If you invoke the phrase that says, the next time I intend to, instead of, God dang it, why didn't I? You're going to feel a whole lot different, and you're going to be engaged to make the actions happen, right? Okay? Action over thinking. All right. Maxim number 5. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. That one has been a huge one for me in my life. And this came to me about 5 years ago or so. And it hit me square between the eyes. Okay? And so let's talk about the main points of this one. And again, this one is, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. So number 1, the blessing and the curse of habit. This is where this habit becomes invoked here. The blessing and the cursing of habit. What do I mean by both blessing and curse? How can that even be possible? Number 1, habit is a blessing because when you gain the habits, by the way, a habit is a form of behavior, right? A behavioral habit. When you have a particular behaviors that become habit, they become rote, they become part of who you are, and they're fruitful for you. They help you feel better. They help you act better. They help you do better. They help you get better. Okay? That becomes a blessing, right? It becomes life-giving to you. So awesome. It's so awesome, right? But if you take on habits that are not fruitful, that don't get you where you want to go, that don't move you, that don't help you, as a matter of fact, they may actually help you get worse or less or unhealthier, okay? Those kind of habits can be a curse. And so what I want you to know is that you're endowed with a massive amount of power inside of you, and that power is called habit. You see, if you measure a person's habits in their life, you can tell what their life is going to be like. Tell me what your habits are, I'll tell you what your life looks like. Tell yourself what your habits are, and you can be able to take a look and see what your life is like. And so, what are you going to do about your habits? Okay? Point number 2 I'm going to talk about when it comes to if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you always got, is to invoke adventure. Okay? Invoke adventure. What I'm saying to you is I want you to create such a clear and compelling future that you can't not do it. It's an absolute yes, I'm moving in that direction, right? That's what's going to be critically important. I'm reading a book right now that reminded me of something that Warren Buffett said. And it goes like this. The idea is that the difference between successful people and supremely successful people is that supremely successful people say no to almost everything. You can only have a stronger yes. You can only say no if you have a stronger yes. So what is it that's adventurous, that's exciting, that's interesting, that you can keep your eyes on, which is point number 3, to keep your eyes on the prize. Adventure is exciting. It's going out and trying something new for the sake of excitement. Now, you need to know this. Excitement and nervousness or anxiety, they reside in the same place in the body. Exact same place in the body. So you have to decide for yourself, are you going to label it excitement and adventure, or are you going to label it being bossed around and having to be accountable? You get to decide. That's how powerful you are. Okay? So going back to the eyes on the prize piece, now that you've determined that you're going to be adventurous, what's the adventure look like? How often are you looking at that? And when I say looking at it, I mean, make a vision board. Okay? Create a mental picture that's so clear and so compelling that you can close your eyes, you can be there. Did you know that you can actually go back to a time in the past when you felt absolutely adventurous and amazing and excited and compelled? And you'll re-experience that again because your brain does not know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Right? This is why vision works, visualizations work, is basically we're creating a picture so compelling that we feel like we're already there and it wants to draw us in. All right. Want to make some progress? Do it. Now you've got some cool ideas, all right? So the 5 maxims are progress over perfection. Perfect is nice, done is better. It's not fake it till you make it. It's believe it till you become it. Inspect what you expect. And then if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. Here's what I'm going to say to wrap up this conversation with you. And I trust that you'll take it as it's meant. Get it. It's what you are supposed to do.